Do you want to be able to make Elden Ring AI images with just a few simple prompts like this? Or even like this? Or even a full-on animation like this? What's up, world? Super here back in another video, and today I'm going to showcase some of the AI stuff that I've been working with for Elden Ring Diffusion. I haven't seen any videos made about this Diffusion model yet, and it piqued my interest because a lot of people are going back to play Elden Ring, and they're kind of getting into it on streamer stuff, so I feel like this is the time to kind of talk about Elden Ring stuff, as it seems like DLC is going to be coming around the corner, and there's some other stuff that just won Game of the Year. So let's get into it, right? So we have the Elden Ring Diffusion here up and loaded, and I'm going to talk about some of the images and some of the prompts that I do, and some of the prompting that I like to do, and some of the resolutions that I like to work with. Now, if you want to know how to get Auto 111 set up and all this AI stuff set up, then I'm going to leave a bunch of links down below in the description of different people that you can visit. But be sure to check those guys out and see what they have to offer. They're also great AI channels. This is not just going to be designated AI channels, so I just do videos on what I like and what I'm passionate about. And right now, it's this AI stuff. It's really, really fun to work with. But I'm just going to go through some of the renders that I've been doing here now, and some of the images that I had shown up earlier. Some of these images are going to be with just the Elden Ring Diffusion, and then I'm also going to talk about some merging stuff that we can do later on. Again, these are kind of just like almost like painting images here. These aren't exactly renders, but I do feel like this looks like it's almost in the game. There's some nice, beautiful lighting here. I got a nice moon here. The moon isn't exactly perfectly round, but I also had some little prompting in there that might have thrown that off a bit. Kind of wanted it on fire, looking like a sun. Moving on here, we have another boss-like render here. This one I really, really do adore. Now, I do think there is some artifacting here with the moon in the moonlight, but maybe we could shift this over a bit with some in-painting and stuff like that to get this really done well. I really like this unique weapon design. It's almost like a demon with wings here with this little spike stuff. This came out really, really well done. It looks like the landscape, kind of like when you're out in like the marsh area in the second area of Elden Ring. I really think it kind of is reminiscent to that. And again, here, another third image we're looking at here. Again, another boss enemy. This is kind of like, looks like the player model like holding up like a shield. And it just came out really well done. Again, we have another boss-like enemy, and I had a bit of issue getting the wings out of a lot of these images, so I had to put that in the negative prompt. That's going to be kind of a thing for you guys, is like a negative prompting will help when you're using this Elden Ring Diffusion model, especially if you don't want wings in there and stuff like that. So I was able to get that out. I think on here, yeah, I was able to get the wings. And again, another better render of the moon here. I really did like the moonlight. I just kind of like what kind of lighting it offers to the actual player model or boss model or whatever it have you. Again, this is kind of more of like a painting overall. So here again, we got another little boss enemy. And I was really liking making these boss creatures, honestly. It was kind of fun. Now here is where I get into some of the rendering stuff with it. I really think this looks absolutely insane. We got some like crazy skin pores here going, some like actual muscular textures to this guy. It looks absolutely nuts. Now this looks like it's like from the actual game render, almost like a game image. Here, even with the gold shine and light, and this is like a perfect moon model here, perfectly round. There is like some artifacting here, but this looks absolutely insane. This looks like it's from the game itself. So this Diffusion model was really fun. Now, I was trying to get the swords to render right, and I will have a seed down below on how to get some of these sword-like models here, because they were a bit difficult to get to render right. Now, this is one of the better ones that I had. It's got some nice little etching here, and it's almost like it came off of a blade further here, and you got a nice little blade underneath here. But some of these sword models, now here, this is the seed that I used to generate some of the next models you'll see. Now this to me looks more like an in-game render. Now there is some kind of like blurriness here and a little bit of artifacting along here, but you'll see in the next image here, this definitely looks closer to an in-game model render, and that's kind of what I'm going for some of these. And you'll see here again, we have a nice little shape here. But I just want to kind of move on from some of this stuff. Okay, but moving on here to some of my favorite settings to use with this model itself, and also I'm going to talk about the merging stuff. So 512 by 512 is a really good resolution. Now I also like to do 640 by 640, but this is from a different Diffusion model that I use this model from. I really like to use Euler PLMS if it can work. Sometimes PLMS doesn't work, but with Euler A I like to do 100 steps. With PLMS I like to do 60 steps. And then with I like to also do DDIM, which that will do at 60 steps as well. And my CFG scale, I like to go between 6 and about 12. 12 is usually the max that you can cap out at. Now, some people like to use the high resolution fix. I'm not always for the high resolution fix. I feel like it doesn't always work with it and kind of creates some issues, but you're free to use it. Now, we'll go with some prompting here for the Elden Ring diffusion model, and just some easy ones that we can go with. I like to do 3D render at first. So render, 3D render, we'll do render itself, and we'll just go for another landscape model. So we're gonna really emphasize to it that we want it to do a landscape. So we're gonna put in here a lot of the landscape stuff. So 4K landscape, we'll even do 4K scenery, and then we'll do epic scenery. So we're really, the way I like to prompt is I like to re-emphasize to it, like, hey, I really want this, I really want this. A lot of people like to do the negative prompting stuff, and sometimes I feel like the negative prompting can hurt you, especially for dynamicness and kind of randomness through it. It'll become a little too stagnant. Like, everything will start to look the same if you don't add a lot of things in here. So I like to do that. Like, so we're gonna do epic land. We'll even do epic landscape here. Add in a sun for this one, like bright sun, beautiful sun. Let's even do like gray wash to the colors a little bit, and let's add a model. And let's just do like a demon skull. We'll call him Demon Skull Slayer. Skull Slayer. You know, we're just adding some like fancy words here. 4K skull. And then maybe we try to add some, like, I like to add skin texture. So skin texture, volumetric. I like to add volumetric lighting. So we'll do volumetric lighting. We'll add a few more things for lighting in here. So I like to re-emphasize stuff here. So you can kind of take after my prompting or do your own type of stuff. You can add like negative prompts and things like that. And for negative prompts, we're going to add low res, blurry. I like to make mine more of a render, so we're going to add painting to a negative prompt. I don't want any paintings in there. And we're going to go Euler at 100 steps with the CFG scale of, let's go to 10. Let's see, I think we can do 768 by 512. I think that's another res. Yeah, I think that's the landscape res. So we'll do that one. We're just going to do a batch of one. We'll leave everything else the same. But let's see. We'll come back and see what this generates. And we're back. Now, it came out a little bit funky. We have some, like, skull here, some kind of, like, artifacting here. But overall, this looks pretty cool. Other than, I think, this little adjustment here. So what we're going to do to fix that, and I'm going to show you guys how I kind of, like, I fixed my prompts. We're not going to remove anything. We're not going to take anything out there. We're just going to make we're going to add a character, and we're going to call him a boss slayer. So it's kind of like adding like a character model. So we're kind of adding character 3D, and hopefully that kind of adds in. So we'll see what this kind of brings out. And I want to try this with DDIM. See what DDIM at 60 steps bring out. Again, we're going to go through this super quick. DDIM, 60 steps. I'll be back when it's done. Okay, now we kind of have a model here now, which is like almost riding a horse, looks like. We do have some kind of blurriness to it, but when we upscale it, it will look a little bit better. Now, I do want to kind of show you, now this actually does look really well done, especially the terrain here and kind of like the grass and the lighting. Now, I want to show you the merged model that I use for some of this Elden Ring stuff, the images that I showed you. And I took one of my favorite models that I might have another video about called Dreamlike Diffusion, and I really like Dreamlike Diffusion. And I merged Elden Ring with Dreamlike Diffusion, so we're going to use this exact same prompt. We're not going to change anything about this, and we're going to use it in the Dreamlike Diffusion. I'll be right back. Before I get those, I got to get the weights loaded and all that stuff, so it's going to take a little while to switch. Okay, and we're back, and as you see the kind of uniqueness that we're pulling off of this, now again, it's really having a hard time artifacting with that moon sun here, but this is like a really cool environment because this is one you don't really see in Elden Ring. There is a desert zone, but there's no real dust area. This is kind of like a really cool chapel with some things here and some really cool landscape model here. Now I'm going to go ahead and try one more. I'm going to try Euler at 100 steps, and I'll be right back with what that comes up with. Okay, this came out a lot better than I expected. And this isn't really a landscape view, but as you can see, the skull texturing here looks really cool. And we're going to take this image and we're going to upscale it. So we're going to send it to extra, so just so you know. And I'm going to show you my favorite upscaler, which is Swirl IR 4 times. A lot of people like to use these last 3 ones. I feel like this makes it a little bit too anime-ish, especially this last one here. Kind of washes out things and gets rid of the kind of like the textures on it. So we're going to bring it here. We're going to bring it to about 0.4. I usually like to that. So we're going to generate this, see what it comes up with. Okay, so here's the image upscaled with my favorite upscaler, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. Look how the teeth came out. And you could really see the difference from the original image here. Kind of blurry, a little bit of texturing, and when you see with the upscaler, it just looks absolutely fantastic. And the lighting looks so good on this too. and kind of even like the cracked skull. This looks really, really cool in my eyes, and it wasn't anything we came up with. We kind of wanted like a character in there, but you know what? It did pretty cool stuff, especially for it being a merged model with Elden Ring. I think this kind of gives like a nice tone to it. Now, we could have added a lot more things like gold and stuff like that Elden Ring likes to have, but I'm just going to show you really quick how we merged those models. Now, what I did is I took Dreamlike Diffusion model and I merged it with the Elden Ring model, and I did it at a 0.3 scale, which is default, usually pretty good. Now, what you could have done is you could have taken the Elden Ring model and then merged in whatever you like. Maybe it would be a little bit better for you and it would come out a little bit better, but I kind of like the diversity in there, and yeah, there's a little bit of artifacting on some of this, but those are just some of my tips, and I really do think that having a long, nice prompt here is going to help you guys out. But if you guys appreciated the video, I'd like a sub and subscribe. That'd be great. I should have some more AI content out here soon, and I just wanted to talk about this model because I had a lot of fun with it. And there was some really cool stuff. There's some really cool stuff that you can do in this Auto 111, especially merging models and taking images and upscaling them and kind of figuring out different stuff about the image and all that stuff. So if you have any more questions, leave the comments down below. And until the next one, deuces.